12 years. 12 years that Ashley, my director of ops, my first ever employee, has committed to whatever cause I had on the agenda that week. Today's podcast is dedicated to Ashley and some stories about what we've gone through.
My goal is to help restaurant owners finally get to where they want to go. But more than that, my goal is to find entrepreneurs within that segment that actually know what it means to hustle. That's my goal. Come on the journey with me.
Restaurant Marketing Secrets, episode 290. I'm your host, Matt Plapp, and we're brought to you by America's Best Restaurants. America's Best Restaurants is on a path to help you, independent restaurant owners, find more frequent customers. Because infrequent customers do not pay your damn bills. And in order to develop the loyalty and cultivate the relationships that you have to have a large, frequent customer base, you have to have long-term dedicated employees. You have to have ride or dies. You have to have people that are in it to win it no matter what direction you give them. And today, that's about my ride or die, Ashley, who's been with me 12 years. I've heard so many stories about entrepreneurs and how there's some sort of sickness there with the drive, the motivation, the ability to ride the waves of the emotions that it is starting, building, and running a business. I got to say there's probably as much, if not more, for the people that are on the ride with you. Ashley is one of those people. She's the number one person. In June 2nd, 2023, marked 12 years. I remember the B&I meeting in the spring of 2011 where I stood up and I asked for a referral to somebody that could work part-time, that will lead the full-time. I remember I said something like 5 hours, probably, maybe 10. Person needs to be tech savvy, understand the importance of a cell phone in consumers' lives. They're going to help me with some social media, some email marketing, and just some planning. It was actually pretty hard for me to get up and say, because at that time, I didn't want employees. When I started this company in 2008, my vision was to be what I called a mobile marketing director for about 20 to 30 brands. Help them understand how to navigate what their marketing should look like, and then do some of the higher level stuff for them. Well, as I grew that company by myself, I came to the realization, and it was actually Thanksgiving of 2010 is when I realized that I needed help. I needed somebody to help me take some of the weight off my shoulders and also give me more vision and more clarity on what we were doing. My wife, Christy, had helped a little in the process early on because she saw what I was doing. And oddly enough, she was on Facebook before me. And in college, I had nicknamed her the email queen and used to make fun of her for using this thing called email when I couldn't find her in her dorm room. She'd be in the email lab. But Christy wore out pretty quickly. And she was like, hey, I'm here to help you for a couple things here and there. You got to get somebody. And that was when I stood up at that B&I meeting and I asked for a referral to somebody that could help me with that. And I wasn't real sure what I was going to find. And I think about it now looking back, how freaking lucky was I to find Ashley from a standpoint of here we are 12 years later. I think we all know as employers, the cost of finding the right employees, of training the right employees, of retaining the right employees, it's expensive. And when you think about somebody being on that journey for 12 years with you, especially for me from the beginning, because I remember the projects I gave Ashley early on. I remember her test I gave her. Her mom referred her to me, and I remember having a couple conversations with her. And I can't remember if they were all in person or on the phone, but I remember the one, I basically gave her the access to one of our clients' constant contact accounts and said, hey, I need you to create an email in here based off of this, and this. And there's already some stuff in there. Here's the login. I don't have time to show you. Let me know what it looks like. And I was probably hoping, honestly, knowing Matt Platt back then, probably hoping that she'd do a terrible job, so it would prove to me that I was the only person that could do the job, and I had to be that person. And she came back and she crushed it. I remember looking at the email going, holy shit, this is better than what I did. And like, I'm the genius. Like, what the hell? And so in May of 2011 was when we were trading a lot of a lot of emails. I remember meeting with her at Panera Bread. I believe it was the Crestview Hills location, because she was on her way to Coney Island, which is a pool locally. Used to be like I guess you could call it almost like a water park, amusement park type thing, like a micro one over on the east side by Riverbend. And she was on her way there to go chill. That was her summer. She had just lost a job at a law firm and I think was just kind of in limbo, like, what the hell? It's the summer. I'm going to take some time off and chill and do my thing. And she came on board. And early on, we did a lot together. I was actually looking at the email that I sent her with regard to some of the early testing. And it was, let me pull this up because this is crazy. I think back to these days, the stuff that we did for our clients that honestly they weren't willing to do for themselves, but they also had never really thought about it. Like, let me read these off to you. Let's see. June 6th, because I remember June 2nd. Here it is. Hello is the subject line. This is Thursday, June 2nd. And if I scroll down to the May 18th, day after my birthday, was when I had sent her 5 things I need help with. And I guess in between that time was me finally getting back to her. Number 1, Evans Auto Care. We're trying to build a business-to-business program. I need somebody to make phone calls to a list I have, get in contact with somebody at each company, and then one time per week, hit the streets and drop off coupons to area businesses, including the ones on that list. I remember that. I actually did it with her to train her, and I hated it. I can't imagine how much she hated it. We literally went to office buildings and knocked on doors and said, hey, Evans Auto Care's down the street. We're just dropping off some information. I know your employees are probably always looking for auto repair. We're right here. We got a shuttle. We're in the neighborhood. We're trustworthy. Here's some information. This was just part of the marketing plan. And if you know me and follow me, you understand that I'm always trying to find a way to get attention for small businesses. I had all these ideas back then, and the clients weren't willing to do them a lot of times. Like Evan sure as hell wasn't going to go out and go door to door to these businesses, but we did. And Ashley never questioned it. Email marketing. I need to teach someone to use Constant Contact. You would be in charge of getting the client email newsletter going each month and work with me on a monthly basis to finish them up and get them approved. LinkedIn, log into our client accounts and find connections in their industry. I mean, Facebook and Twitter. Make updates to 10 to 20 clients a few times per week starting off. Could be 5 to 6 days per week after a few months. What are your thoughts? Thank you for being so patient with me. If I realized that last line and how important that was going to be looking back over 12 years, thank you for being so patient with me. Holy shit, Ashley. Like what I've thrown at you and what you've never turned down anything. Those first couple years, it was helping me accomplish what I wanted to accomplish for the clients, but honestly do it quicker and at a better level. And then after we got a couple years under our belt, I was able to turn over the reins to pretty much everything: social media, email, graphic design, implementation. And then it got to a point where 2015, I realized we had to go with the restaurant world. Like there was a vision forward. And I literally turned the entire agency over to Ashley and said, hey, I'll be in charge of the relationships. We've got these, let's say, 30 businesses that we help. I can't do it that much anymore, except for the advice. I need you to do everything. She didn't flinch. And I remember that conversation because it was kind of unique in that there's been a few times in our career together that she's asked me, am I being fired? And it was always like, what? Like, hell no. And in this one instance, I had her hire, I ran a marketing campaign and I hired 5, maybe 6 part-timers. And I said, Ashley, I need you to list everything you do for every one of these clients. And on a Google sheet, and we need to delegate it to all these people. I need you to train these people. And she did that while I was gone on a trip. I went on, I want to say it was like a 19-day camping trip with the family. I can't remember if it was 2015 or 16. But I went on this camping trip and I said, hey, I need you to train these people on everything you do so that when I get back, we can assign all your work to them. Well, I guess my dumb ass never told her why, which makes sense. If Ashley and anybody that knows me can appreciate this, that sometimes I have a master vision and I don't clue the people in on it around me. And she never questioned it. And I come back, I'll never forget, I come back, they're all trained. We hand everything to them. And she's like, am I being fired? I'm like, what? She's like, well, I have no job now. You just gave my entire job to these part-timers. And I'm like, well, no, hell no, you're not being fired. I need you to help me build the restaurant part of the company now. Because what had happened that prior 12 months, I had literally taken myself and became 2 full-time jobs where every morning, every night, I would build the restaurant marketing programs, the automation, the email, the text, the Facebook ads, you name it. And it got to a point where May of that following year, I couldn't do it anymore. And so this was between like 2015 to 17 when I was building it. And then I was having her help me. And then I brought her completely over. And I'll never forget that time because then we sat down at the office I had at the gym and we went over this automation that I had built in a product called Zapier. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. The product that I was using, Zapier at the time, was meant to, if you can kind of imagine a 5-step system. So somebody clicks a button and it sets off a chain reaction of 5 items that finishes what needs to happen. So in this case, imagine somebody clicks your website. This is a lot easier today. But imagine somebody clicks a button on your website and that takes them to a page and they put their name in there and they click that button and then that sends them an email. Then it adds them to a database and then goes on. So Zapier is a tool that allows you to connect a lot of things to fire automation and do tasks. Well, apparently I didn't know this. It was meant to be like a 5 to 10 step process with most Zaps. I had a 78-step Zap, the longest Zap people at Zapier told me they had ever seen. They didn't even know it would work. And I taught Ashley this. And I remember her telling me later on that on the way home, she called her husband crying, like, I'm going to get fired. What Matt just showed me is absolutely ludicrous. I have no clue what the hell he's talking about. There's no way I could ever do this. Guess what she did with that about a week? She freaking dominated it. She fixed it. She tweaked it. She got it much simpler. And every step of the way, she's done that. She has grown from a, hey, catch all, do this, to now a, hey, give me your advice on how we can do this. She's in charge of a lot of people. She's done more marketing campaigns for restaurants on Facebook, Instagram, I would challenge than anybody in the world. The success that she knows how to find for our clients is unbelievable. But more than anything, for me, is the fact that Ashley has never questioned the journey. She's questioned my sanity. And there's been a few times where we've had to have a come to Jesus meeting because I didn't communicate with her well. And she had to say, Matt, get your shit together. Happened a couple months ago, actually. But she's never questioned the journey. And that's wild. I mean, you think about a co-pilot. You think about Top Gun. You got these 2 pilots in a plane, and one of them's driving the plane, but the other one might not be flying the plane, but they're as important as anything else. And there has to be belief and trust between that. And I got to say, that's what Ashley is to our company. So I can keep going on and on. Just know this, everybody. Ashley's a badass. And she's got a couple of nicknames. I can't call her on the air, but she calls herself and the team calls her, and they have a blast with it. But she loves what she does. She's committed to the journey, to the process. And ride or die signifies who she is. So, Ashley, Thank you for 12 amazing years. I look forward to 12, 24, 36 more. See ya. So as you know, I don't charge for my content. We don't have sponsors. We don't have product placement in here. But what I want your help with is spreading the word. If you're finding value here, do me a favor. Share this on your social media. Share an episode with something that made sense to you, that's relevant to your restaurant, that you got value from, and tag Matt Plapp and America's Best Restaurants. Also, go to America's Best Restaurants on Facebook and on Google and leave us a review. Let us know the impact we've had on your restaurant with our roadshow, with our marketing help, or with our podcast. And last but not least, if you want to take the next step and help me out a lot and help us out a lot, text me a testimonial, 859-743-2408. That's my cell. A selfie video would be awesome about the impact this content or our company is having on your independent restaurant. But worst case scenario, just a few kind words. The way we can help lift this industry up is to help get content like this to more independent restaurant owners, and you are the key to spreading the word. I appreciate your support. Have an amazing day.